All right, welcome to the wonderful world of reefing. So this is my second bat with dinos. I know what caused it this time. So I guess between 2 and 3 years ago, I would have to look back at the videos before I did the reboot of this tank. I got dinos and trying to battle them. I tried all the different methods I could find online, the blackout period, UV sterilizer, increasing nitrates, phosphates. Finally, I never could get rid of them with all that stuff or doing all those methods. And I finally tried Dino X, and when I did Dino X, it killed the SPS that I had in the tank. So I definitely don't want to do that again. But getting back to it, I had diatoms and brown algae. Some of it started turning to green algae. The cleanup crew was doing a pretty good job at it. I was manually removing some. I did not have dinos until I decided to help the coloring up of my acroporas. I read some articles saying that, acroporas will extend, I don't know what you actually call them, not the polyps, but like little feeding things during the night, sweepers, I guess. I see them extend the sweepers when I add the Red Sea AB Plus into the tank, but it says a lot of times they'll try to feed at night as well. And a couple different forums I read, people actually would introduce the amino acids and things like that at night. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe that'll help me color up my acros. So I bought a bottle of Acro Power and I started dosing 10 mLs of it at night. And then I continued to dose the Red Sea AB Plus about lunchtime every day during the day. So I had it on almost a reverse schedule. I think I had it set from midnight to 1 a.m. to dose 10 mLs of the Acro Power, and then at lunchtime I dose the regular AB Plus. So within a week of doing that, all of a sudden I haven't seen any sign of dinos prior, and then all of a sudden the first place they started popping up was on the tips of that coral. And that coral was doing well. I'm not sure. I'm assuming for it to have dinos on the tips of it must have died off, the tissue of it or whatever. So anyway, you can see the snot-like bubbly look to it. And then, as I go around, it first appeared there within a couple days. What looked like just brown algae before, I started seeing a lot of the bubbles in it, the air bubbles in it. So that's one of those key indicators of dinos. So even looking at the sand bed, the dinos look different from algae. They have that mucus like coating to it that stretches over all the sand. So that, really developed within a couple days. It was really fast. And then next thing is, I'm assuming my snails started eating the dinos and them being toxic. I just this morning, and this just happened this morning today, I noticed I probably have about 6 dead Trochus snails There's another one there. So, I've been testing my nitrates and phosphates once a week, but I immediately broke out my HANA checkers and tested, and my phosphates are at 0.04 and nitrates are at 3. So I've been trying to shoot for 5 with them, and it kind of when I test and kind of dose, I bring it up to 5 on the weekend, and I feel like, you know, during the week it drops down to about 3 for the nitrates. So, you know, my nutrients didn't bottom out. I mean, I guess, you know, that is fairly low, but they didn't bottom out, and nothing else has changed in the tank other than I started dosing AcroPower. So then I started taking to the forums, you know, try to research things, try to figure things out. And I actually found some forums saying that that when dosing, not AcroPower specifically, but like amino acids and things like that for corals, it does kind of fuel dinos. So, and you know, I found a couple forums stating that. I'm not saying that's just, you know, rock solid information, but that's what I found. So it made sense. I was like, okay, well, this just turned up. That's the only change I've made to the tank, and that they just turned up after I started dosing that. So now I have to figure out a plan of how to fight them. I think what I'm going to do is I have to be really careful. I want to try to fight the dinos without harming my Acropora. I have at this point, a lot of money in my frags. So I think what I'm going to do, I do watch Reef Dudes a lot, and Devin on there, what he did, if you can go back and watch his video, I think he only did a 1-day blackout, and he didn't do blackout, he just did 1 day like lights out, and then he started dosing nitrates and phosphates, and for his, I forget if it's like 150, 160 gallon tank or whatever, you know, you can go watch his video and he'll tell you the amounts that he was dosing. He also dosed the Brightwell, is it like Sponge Excel or something like that? That's basically like silicates. He dosed that, and he also dosed 50 mLs of hydrogen peroxide per day. Now, he made the statement on there that it was basically a test concoction that he's, you know, he had talked to somebody else that had worked for them, not necessarily sure, like pinpointing it, which part of it did the trick, but after a few days, he basically said that his cleared up. So I think that I'm going to probably raise my nitrates and phosphates a little bit higher, maybe get the phosphates between 0.05 and 0.1, and then on my nitrates, I'm gonna try to shoot, you know, between, like, I don't really want to go over 10, so maybe like 5 to 10. I guess I'm also going to try dosing hydrogen peroxide. I will also do maybe a day or 2 lights out to see if that kind of knocks them back some, because I don't, you know, right now I do have a good amount in here. I do have some covering a fair amount of the sand and a good bit of the rocks, but it's not crazy yet. I'll try that. I don't have any of the Brightwell Sponge Excel or whatever. If I'm not having any luck, then I'll order a bottle of that and try it too. I'm also going to start dosing bacteria again. So I tried last time. I did the Dr. Tim's, the Dino kit, which was, I think it was Refresh and what's the other one that he has? Waste Away. But this time I think I'm gonna just dose the Microbacter 7 because I already have a bottle of it. So I'm gonna start dosing some of that every day as well. So that's gonna be my approach. Please let me know any other tips or strategies or advice that you might have, anybody that's been facing dinos. My main objective here is to try to, even if it takes some time, I want to just make sure my number one priority is to the health of my fish and then the health of my corals. So whatever I can do that's going to be the least impact on any of them, that's what I want to try to do. So I don't, a lot of people say when they do a 3-day blackout, some people say, when they remove all the cardboard and stuff like that, then they'll have SPS loss. Some people say, oh, SPS can tolerate, a few days, no light or sun or whatever. So, I've heard kind of mixed stuff on that one. So I don't really want to do a total blackout period or extended period. I might do a day or two. But anyway, yeah, so this is one of the parts of it that absolutely sucks. I was hoping to avoid it because I've been monitoring every week my nitrates and phosphates and making sure that it doesn't bottom out. So I didn't think I would run into this again, but apparently I did. So let me just show you kind of close up so you can see all the fish, of course, think I'm about to feed them, but all the air bubbles now on the rock. And like I said, I feel like this came on really quick. I guess it doesn't take them long. I'm sure the dinos were probably already in the tank and, probably growing a little bit prior to being so visible. I'm sure that the visibility portion just came out quickly, but anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. It seems like the going on, I guess, 3 years that I've had this tank, I don't think I've missed any of the downsides. I feel like I've gone through everything that you can go through, with the exception of I haven't had any of the flatworms and pests like that eat acroporas and stuff, to my knowledge. I've all the corals that you see in here now came from Top Shelf Aquatics, so I'm sure they have pretty good methods to prevent that type stuff anyway. And then as soon as I get the corals in, then I dip them as well, and then I cut the bases off all of them. So I've tried to do everything I can to prevent any kind of pests like that coming in. But yeah, I've done I've had all kinds of ugly stages. I've had a lot of hair algae prior to this reboot. Had a huge outbreak of verminid snails. I have them back again. Previously, I had a ton of Aptasia. I beat those by ordering the Bergia nudibranchs. And like I said, just in general, having the dinos and all before, I can understand why getting dinos will make people get out of the hobby, just because there's, if you have Acropora or SPS, I don't know of a tried and true way or method just to get rid of them. You know, everybody tells you first, well, get a sample and get a microscope, identify them, see which ones you're dealing with, then you know how to fight them best. But even that, once you identify them, yeah, there's recommended methods, but there's nothing just rock solid saying, oh yeah, if you have these, do this, they're gone, and it won't hurt anything else. I can't find anything like that. So, yeah, I do see, you know, I've seen pictures of dinos like completely covering the acroporas and just killing everything. Like I said, I've already started losing some inverts. I'm assuming they fed on them and died. I do have carbon in the sump, so hopefully, you know, it's maybe removing some of the toxins that they produce. But anyway, let me know. I'll get through this one like everything else. But yeah, the challenge is, you know, just saving everything I can in the tank. But that'll wrap it up. Thanks.